There was a garage sale in my area, which kind of blew my mind, because in my newly minted life as an adult woman, 4th year of college and all, I couldn't remember the last time I'd seen one in my waking life. I'd started a bucket list, filled with some rather plain activities as my newest attempt to fight the creeping depersonalization that had plagued me for the last year or so. Once I saw the sale, I immediately added it to my list, then went there and crossed it off. The sale itself was pretty pathetic. Nothing I would ever do a double take for in a store. Nevertheless, I spotted a single cartridge for an N64 game I hadn't seen before, and wanting to come back with some sort of trophy, I snagged that. The old lady running the show squinted with her glasses on when I held it out in front of her. "Must be Marty's," she said, looking rather confused. $10. Cue that stock. Sound. And off I went home to my half of the apartment I was sharing with Kelsey. Kelsey with the fantastic self-discipline, the great diet, the great job, my true foil and polar opposite. I entered. She was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables and measuring her food because being hot was its own full-time job, and I respected it. I lingered for 5 seconds, so she knew to ask about my day. "How was your day, Sadie?" she eventually asked. I leaned over the dining table chair. "I went to a garage sale." "Uh-huh. Why?" "It was on my bucket list." "Why do you have a bucket list? You're like a baby." "Because, like, life. It's fleeting. And like the human experience or whatever." She squinted. "Is it an actual physical list?" "Word doc, mainly," I said back. And then some scribbles in my notebook. I couldn't tell if she was impressed or confused. Okay. I thought twice about whether I should flash her the cartridge as proof of purchase, but it didn't seem she found the venture as impressive as I did, so I opted against it. "Gonna go veg out in my room," I said, skirting off. "Have fun in there," she said. Never liked her saying that all the time. It felt pervy. I closed the door to my bedroom. Sparkling lights hung across the wall to celebrate the arrival of winter. Amidst the cozy hideaway, with too many throw pillows, was the pièce de résistance, the small wooden TV stand in the corner with CRT TV on top and N64 tucked neatly below. Did I ever play it? Nope. Did it make me happy to look at? Yes. My usual special, dead-eyed scrolling between the apps while eating takis and smoking a bowl, lasted me all about 30 minutes before a familiar dread kicked in. I went to the old TV, cleared off some dust, turned off most of the lights, leaving only the wall ones twinkling, and checked to see if the old console, product of an era I just missed and yet still had some bizarre nostalgia for, was set up properly. When all seemed well, I grabbed the cartridge, game titled Covington's Redemption, blew into it once for good measure, and stuck it into the console, switched it on. After a few seconds of lag, static lines flickered across the screen indicating something was happening. Then, in big blue letters, the title screen appeared. Covington's Redemption. Press start. I pressed the button, and immediately I was met with a presence sitting across a table in a small kitchen. Wrinkled lines marked his face. He had a suit on. It looked like he was a middle-aged man. "What is your name?" he asked. A dialogue box appeared for me to type a response. I used the joystick to painfully slowly select the letters. Lebron. I inhaled, smoking with my free hand. "Thank you for visiting me, LeBron." "You're so welcome," I said out loud, taking another puff and then coughing. I can't believe I'm not out shooting threes right now. Yes, I talked to myself. Sue me. "It appears you are coming to me at a dire time in your life," he continued. "For sure." Smoke rings. Perhaps you came here thinking I could send you on a grand quest. Word. The truth is, I'm not who you think I am. He stood up from his table. I'm not your quest giver. Rather, I'm a lawyer named Larry with psychic powers. I started laughing, here to battle cruelty in this twisted world. Oh my god, this game is fucking dog shit, I said, beaming. I heard Kelsey's bedroom door close. Whether in response to my noise or just a random occurrence, I wasn't sure. And I'm grateful, his dialogue continued, that you followed the spark of curiosity within you, the spark of instinct, for it was the right call. Dramatic pause. For there is something coming after you. And if the fixed course of time isn't disrupted via psychic interference, your life will be taken in 3 days. And I had to be honest. Melodramatic suit guy was fun enough, but my TikTok-trained attention span was starting to waver. If you're ready, he went on, I can take you to my vision room so that you can see the gravity of the situation for yourself. I pressed A to continue because I was high enough that cutting him off felt rude. The scene shifted to a dark back room with not much else in it other than a bulletin board. Larry grabbed his head and focused, while a swirling sound effect played. He clenched his face, fingers pressed against his temples, until finally, an image manifested on the board. The photo of another character. A woman. Trail of blood pooling from her mouth. Eyes lifeless. This is the condition you'll be found in 3 days, he said. I squinted. My reddened eyes, in tandem with the slowed brain processing power, took a while to digest the image. The girl had a beige cable-knit sweater, not unlike the one I was wearing. Crescent moon tattoo on her inner wrist, just like mine. Blonde hair, loose, brushed out waves. Outdated 3D model aside, she looked a lot like me. Like, a lot. His dialogue box stayed frozen, awaiting my button press to continue. Putting my pipe on the counter, I grabbed my phone, reread the cartridge's title, Covington's Redemption, and Googled it. No relevant results. I double-checked the spelling. Added more words to the search like N64 or video game. Still nothing. I put everything down, rushed to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, stared at myself in the mirror. You're okay. Back to my room. I could feel my heart start to bounce in my chest. I re-grabbed the controller and let his dialogue continue. LeBron, if the sight isn't making it clear, you're going to be murdered. I'm just tripping out. To stop the perilous train barreling towards you, it's going to require a few key things, he said. He struck a pose, fist clenched in front of his face. You're going to need to be cunning. The fuck, man, I whispered. A wistful, pixelated look off to the side. You're going to need to be brave. I just need to breathe. And finally, you're going to need to overcome your personal demons. Put them to bed once and for all. He steadied himself. What I suggest first and foremost is... Click. I turned the N64 off. Just a bad trip. I needed to go to bed. So I did, rallying together as many excuses in my head as needed for why this all had a logical explanation, and why I needed to call it a night early. Amidst bouts of tossing and turning, and sobriety creeping back in, I snuck in what felt like a fever dream of a nap. Eyes to the clock. 1 a.m. I rebooted the game. Take 2. Come on, normalcy. I was greeted with that same bulletin board, psychic lawyer man beside, and the image of the deceased girl. Except this time, her clothes had changed. Still looked like me. Was just now dressed in the same jammies and Care Bears sleep shirt I'd just put on. feeling all sorts of fucked up. I finished reading Larry's note this time. What I suggest first and foremost is that you pay close attention to your surroundings over the next 24 hours. Then, he rested his head in his hands. I grow weary. I tried to get anything more out of him, but he just kept repeating, I grow weary. After that, struggling to place if there was anything else immediate I could do. And with exhaustion already swallowing me, I just turned the system off again and tried to dream away the cosmic dread. It was the next day, and after some truly terrible sleep, I was back at my university forcing myself into the routine of classes. Clutched in my hand was a small pocketbook for jotting down any noticings, as per the recommendations of one psychic Larry. My eyes shot from mark to mark in the hallway. People, students, with their micro-expressions, laughing at dumb shit, or stressed out. I wasn't actually going to die, right? This was all just like a joke or something, right? Sade. I heard a familiar voice trail behind me, and then Connor fell into step beside me. Longtime friend, reliable friend, looked way too much like that nice guy from 13 Reasons Why. Hey, I said. Whoa, he said, looking at my face. What? No, nothing. No, what is it? It's just, you look tired. And I know you're not supposed to say that to a woman. So I stopped before I said it. Ah, yes, the hive mind that is all women. I smiled, shrugged it off. It's fine, just couldn't sleep. Shortly after, we were in our lecture hall for class. The professor rattled off about concentric zone theory, and I, paid attention to my surroundings. Across the room, I spotted Bryson, my ex, my big, dumb ex. We locked eyes. We'd ended on less than cordial terms. He wanted to open our relationship, and I granted him permission. He could sleep with anyone in the world but me. Notebook subtly opened. I scribbled. Bryson, spiteful polyamorist, Connor whispered, sneaking bites of his terrible-looking lunch. I know it's not my place to, give advice, but if you couldn't sleep because you were smoking a lot of pot, then you should monitor that. I know it can impact anxiety and motivation and... My eyes fixed on the boyish professor next. Professor Warden. A flicker of eye contact. Given my major, criminology, was his area of expertise, it wasn't a surprise that I'd had multiple classes with him already. My mind flashed to that choice encounter we once had. Making out in the closet in first year during my professor phase. The fun ended when he said, Sorry, I can't. Not with students. Ironically delivered after sticking his tongue down my throat for 20 minutes. It was never brought up again. The memory faded, and I turned to Connor and nodded so he could feel heard while continuing his monologue. Pocket journal reopened. Prof. Warden. Scared I'd get him fired 4 years later. I just think, Connor again, that if you tried to go cold turkey for even just 2 weeks, it could really... The hours whipped by without much to show for them. And then we were back in the hallway. And I was continuing, once again, to scan for any hints at the cause of my impending erasure. So, what are you doing after this? He asked me. Probably just gonna hide away in my room. There's a new bar by Sundale. I was thinking about checking it out if you wanted. I'm really low energy today, Con. Maybe another time. For sure, he said. Another time then. We split up. I gave him a wave, and he sheepishly scratched the back of his head and walked away. When he was out of sight, I secured my little notebook again. Connor, wee bit obsessive. I scratched it out as soon as I finished writing it. Maybe just a bit too puppy dog for that, he was. I was about to close the notebook when I caught something in my peripheral. Someone peeking around the end of the hall, watching me, dressed in all black, hood pulled over their head. My walk quickened into a run. I rounded the corner and saw they were gone. I looked behind me, then all around, a little dazed. Then I wrote that down too. I arrived back at the apartment, marred with sleeplessness. Kelsey was in the kitchen, meal prep, always. Slicing and dicing so elegantly, too elegantly. "Hey," I said. "Hey, how were classes?" I stared. Swish, swish, swish at the cucumber on the cutting board. "You're really good at that." "Good at what?" "Cutting with that knife." Okay. Thanks. Where did you get your training?" Subtlety left me. "Knife training. You mean my 2nd grade level cutting skills?" "Yeah, I got them by cooking for myself and not door dashing every second meal to my apartment door." Kelsey wasn't having it, so I went to my room and booted up the game. Covington's Redemption title screen. I pressed the start button on my controller, and we were back. Psychic lawyer, Larry, was at the kitchen table, head in his hands. He looked like he'd been struggling. "Sustenance," he said, "in the form of crunchy bread with peanut butter spread atop. I need it if I'm to continue with my visions." Was this motherfucker about to send me on a fetch quest? "LeBron, please," he continued, "exit my quarters. I believe there's a store on this street that sells what I need to keep going." I groaned. I was finally able to control my character. I went up to Larry to see if he had any more dialogue. I received a paltry set of ellipses in response. I maneuvered out of Larry's place, down the steps, and onto a city street. I shifted down the block, spotting storefronts without clear entrances. Ding! On my phone IRL. I checked it. Connor again, text popping up on screen. Sorry if I came on too strong about the pot smoking thing. Back to the TV. Bizarre-looking strangers walking by, the sounds of my shuffling over gravel, until finally I spotted a store that I could actually enter. Carver's Diner. Before I made my way in, I spotted something interesting in the corner of my eye. Someone peeking out from behind an alleyway about a block down. A character dressed in dark layers. A black ski mask on. The fuck? I shifted focus, directing myself to the alley to find, just like in real life. There was no one around the corner. The music in the game started skipping. The ambient outdoor sounds paired with something new. An off-key choral rise, ghost-like voices coalescing in an uncomfortable hum. I stepped down the alley, the hymn growing louder, my hair standing on end. I didn't like this fucking game. And as I did step, I clocked a small square panel in the wall. I removed it, ducked down, and crawled inside. I inched through the passageway, slow movements in the crawl space leading to an eventual resolve. A room. Lanterns piercing the dark. I spotted a chessboard on the ground. All of the little pieces caught fire. All except for one. Ahead of that, there was a statue of a winged, crown-bearing figure. Hollow eyes, with a serpent coiled around one arm and a staff gripped in the other. I looked over to spot me, the same me I'd seen on Larry's bulletin board as an image, but now fully formed, strung up against the wall, bound, lifeless, with bloody tears shedding. As I tried to keep a grip on my own sanity, I spotted the words, "Not yet," appearing from a text box that I think came from the statued figure before. The screen exploded into static. White noise, distortion. Then cut to black altogether. with a single new dialogue box appearing. Anniversary. And then I was right in front of Carver's diner again. And this time, traumatized as all hell, I simply went into the store while scribbling horrifying, demonic shit into my pocketbook. Still in the game, I watched Larry happily chomp down on his peanut butter and toast. It was the one item at Carver's I had enough in-game cash to purchase. Sighing, I sparked up IRL. Kelsey called me earlier to join her in watching The Girlfriend. I was now in my holing up in my space and ghosting my roommate era. I continued pressing the A button as the psychic lawyer kept biting, new dialogue boxes appearing that simply said, over and over again. Exceptional, he said. Finally done, face flushing like an Animal Crossing character. Simply exceptional. He wiped his face with his suit sleeve and then seemingly locked the fuck in. 2 days. We have a little over 2 days now. I'm aware, I said aloud. You did what I told you, didn't you? He said. You've paid attention? Yes. Fuck. What I find very important, he continued, in pursuing justice, is understanding motives, not getting thrown off by distractions or red herrings. Kelsey opened the door, completely ignoring our please knock policy. She flopped onto my bed. You're being antisocial as fuck, she said. Larry's dialogue continued on. I tried to pause it, but none of the buttons worked. Privacy, please. I'm just feeling a little low-key today, I said. You're squandering your potential, Missy. She scrawled on her phone. I would do so much with my life if I had rich parents. Amidst the distraction, my eyes only briefly caught some of Larry's words. Re-examining, digging deeper. You're playing old video games? Kelsey asked, intrigued. Is this Mario Kart? Does it look like Mario Kart? Larry, meanwhile, energized, brought it back to his secret room with the bulletin board again. Let's start with another one of my visions. Face drawn tight, fingers pressed to his temples again. Having Kelsey there felt akin to when your parents walk in during a movie's sex scene. An image appeared on the board, an animated close-up of a mouth opening, a fork full of lettuce being lifted to its teeth. The animation continued looping. I can now see the mouth of your killer, he said proudly. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Ooh, murder mystery game, said Kelsey, plopping down to the ground beside me. Yeah, it's super fun, I said, beyond depressed. So obviously the killer likes salad, said Kelsey. Yeah, but I mean, so what? We call that a hint, Sadie. Write it down. I sighed, slowly grabbed my pocketbook, flipped to an empty page, and scribbled into it with a pen. She ruffled my hair annoyingly and bounded off. God, what the fuck, dude, I said. Go outside, she called back. Touch grass. Use your trust fund baby privilege for good. Go easy on the ganja. I got up and shut the door. Back to Larry. So, he continued, tell me, LeBron, does this mouth ring a bell for you? No. Tell me more about today, he said. And then, it just lingered on him. He stared at me. No input screen to painfully slowly type an answer into. Realizing we were far beyond reason now, I decided to talk directly to the TV. I mean, nothing crazy at first. Earlier today, the weirdest thing was some dude, watching me from the hallway. That said, in the game. He squinted. Never mind the insanity that the words I was speaking seemed to be translating. His expression at the game was worrisome. I rephrased. Near your place. There was an alleyway, and another creepy guy there, but more. Anyways. and then I saw like some satanic shit. I don't know. The journey grows dangerous, he said. Yeah, no shit, man. He spent some time, fingers pressed to his lips, thinking. Should I leave? Or like... He finally landed on something. Go somewhere. And have a drink. Okay, I said. In the gate, near your place, I corrected again. Or like, in my area. In your area. God damn it. I grabbed my phone, text from Mom. Come home for dinner this week. It was one of a string of messages from her I hadn't responded to yet. Needed to get to that too. I texted Connor. Received a response back in like 0.2 seconds. Then I headed out, striding past Kelsey, who was splayed out on the living room sofa, watching TV. Where are you going? She asked. To touch grass. As I left, I fought the urge to scribble her name into my notebook. Salad is pretty universal, right? What do you think? Asked Connor from across our booth at the bar. Yeah, I mean it's a bar, so that's cool. It was the place he had pitched earlier today. He was the only person I knew who'd go out with me on a Wednesday night on short notice. They've got this, like, really cool cocktail. He flipped a page. I was thinking of trying later. A server came by with our drinks. He smiled as she put them down. She left. I took a sip of the blue buck he'd ordered for me before I got here. He knew my favourite. Had to hand it to him. So, he continued, as my eyes flitted from patrons to barkeeps, paying attention as always. You don't usually come out with me. I smiled. I just needed, like, air, I think. Air and ambience. Didn't feel safe doing it alone, so you feel safe with me, he said, almost lighting up. And yeah, I said, dodging, just want to try a new place out. People watch, maybe, if that makes sense. More darting of my eyes. I tried to keep it subtle, while cursing my 64-bit lawyer for putting me into this awkward situation. Silence. I've been worried about you, Connor said. I'm fine, please stop. Not about weed smoking, I'll drop that. Thank you. But how you don't ever talk about, like... I swallowed. He continued. And I'm sorry for even bringing it up, but we're friends, and we never discuss it, but I can tell it's weighing on you. It's not weighing on me, I said. Your sister. Like that's so... It's just the fact that you're like trying to find yourself again, and... I did say ambient night. It's fucked up. What happened to her. And I just want you to know I'm here for you as you try to move forward. Thanks, Connor. Truly. Then, I'm gonna go piss. I saw his expression shift as I got up and headed for the ladies' room. Inside, I felt my heart race a bit. I didn't need this right now. I steadied my breathing in front of the mirror. A memory flashed across my eyes. Waking up late to missed calls from everyone in my family. I was supposed to be with her that night. I left the bathroom. I spotted Connor still goofily cycling through the cocktails menu. My attention shifted to the bar's back area, past the mostly empty kitchen, where I saw another person in a ski mask, dressed in all black, peering through the back door that led outside, eyes fixed on me. Beyond the stirring mix of sensations within me, fear, my heart sinking, anxiety pounding, came something a little different. Anger. I rushed towards the figure, blitzing past confused restaurant workers, kicking the door to the back alley. only to see not one but two masked people sprinting away, far out of reach. I caught my breath, looked down and saw something that might have fallen from one of their pockets. A small totem, carved from dark stone, no bigger than a thumb. Wings folded tight around its body, a serpent coiled along one side, looking a bit like the strange statue I'd seen in the game. I pocketed it, still reeling. Connor showed up behind me. "Sade, what are you doing back here?" "Nothing. I just needed some air. Not feeling that great." "Sorry," he said, "for mentioning it." "It's fine. I'm guessing you want to go home." "Yes."